Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing YA book recommendations specifically for Black History Month. So that means that these are all YA books by Black authors featuring Black main characters. That's it. That's the whole story. Most of these books are contemporary just because that's what I read. There's a sprinkling of some like fantasy. There's one urban fantasy, and one of them's like technically contemporary, but like not regular contemporary. That didn't make any sense. We'll get to it when we get to it. I am planning to do a video like this for adult books, but the way filming is going, we'll see if that happens. Don't hold me to it, but at least I wanted to get this out. Black History Month is not over yet, so if you want to read any of these during February for Black History Month, go ahead. If you want to read any of these during the rest of the year when it's not Black History Month, also go ahead. I don't care when you read these books, as long as you read them, because I'm recommending them. So without further ado, here are some books by Black authors featuring Black main characters that I think you might enjoy. First, we have Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. I have talked about this book before in my LGBTQ plus recommendations video because this book features a girl named Suzette who, amongst other things, is struggling with coming to terms with being bisexual. So it follows her after she returns from her first year of boarding school, where she was originally sent right after her older brother was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So it's about her dealing with her brother's mental illness, coming to terms with her sexuality, and just being back in town after being gone for a year because her boarding school was in New England and her family lives in California. I really liked it. I really liked the family dynamics. The relationship that's shown in here is messy but also interesting, and I really like that aspect. So like I said, the main character is Black. Her mom is Black, and this also features like a blended family. So her stepdad and her brother are white, and they're all Jewish. So love that representation in here. I'm not Jewish, but from what I've heard about the Jewish representation, it seems fine to me. And I have heard some mixed things about the bipolar representation. Some people felt really seen and some people did not like it. I'm not bipolar, so I won't comment on it, but thought I should put that out there. However, I did really enjoy the book. My cat is literally insane, in case anyone was wondering. Anyway, The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. This is like a paranormal fantasy story set in a world where there's two types of people, Dustbloods and Fairbloods, and for the most part, Dustbloods are treated very poorly. And we follow a group of girls who work at a welcome house, which is essentially a brothel, so they are essentially being prostituted. And so the girls do the work of prostitution once they turn 16, and one of the girls, it's her 16th birthday, and so it's her first night working, and she ends up killing her first customer. And so this group of girls have to go on the run because obviously it's not good for you to kill a customer, and all of the patrons are very wealthy people and important, and it turned out that person was incredibly important. So they go on the run because they don't want the girl who killed him to get in a lot of trouble, and end up in search of a mythical person who they believe can remove the tattoos that are on their faces that mark them as being part of a welcome house, and they can't remove it themselves, so they want to try and find that person so that they can be free and really leave the welcome house behind. It was marketed as a YA Western, and I definitely feel that. For the majority of the book, they're like basically going around on horseback, sticking up rich men and like stealing their money because they need money to get what they want and everything, and so we follow them, and it deals with a lot of things. It deals with the feelings that they have after having been at the welcome house. Some of the girls hadn't yet turned 16, so they hadn't experienced the especially bad part yet, but some of them had. It deals with like drug addiction and stuff. If you want to hear more of my thoughts about this, I did do a reading vlog where I read this book and talked about it in detail and how much I really enjoyed reading this book. So yeah, this is a 2019 release, so still fairly new. I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. This follows a girl named Chloe who has done ballet all her life, and her dream is to be a part of a ballet company. And so she's informed about an audition for her dream company, but her mom forbids her from going. So Chloe decides to take it upon herself to basically sneak away and go to the audition against her mother's wishes. And then on her way to sneak out, her annoying neighbor pops up and basically asks her for a favor, and she can't really say no, so he comes along with her as they go on a road trip to get her to her audition. It's so fun. This is just like the lighthearted, fun contemporary of your dreams. My dream specifically because I love reading about girls who do ballet, because I used to do ballet, not so intensely, but I did used to do it. And I just love reading about teenage Black dancers and gives me what I want. The relationship between her and Eli is really cute. It's kind of friends to enemies to lovers. They're not really enemies, and it's really cute. And I just really liked seeing Chloe and following her along on the road trip. If you enjoy road trip stories, this is definitely a good one, and I can't recommend it enough. Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. I have recommended this before, but not in a consistent list. So I want to recommend it again in case I haven't convinced you to read it yet. I really enjoyed the story. It's a really quiet story, which I really liked about it. This is a story that features no romance, so if you're looking for that, this has that. This follows Jade, who believes that she has to get out of her poor neighborhood to succeed. She ends up going to a private school that's pretty far away from her house, and she has to take the bus to get there. And her mom believes that she needs to take every opportunity that is given to her. She ends up joining this mentorship program where if she joins it, she will get a scholarship to college. And basically she's being mentored by another Black woman in her city. But Jade doesn't really want to join it. She's only joining it because she's kind of being made to. Jade is tired of being singled out as a person people need to fix. She doesn't think her mentor can really relate to her. This book deals with a lot of things between like privilege and friendships, being a Black person who's friends with people who aren't Black and like navigating those friendships and things like that. Her family relationship, because she has a single mom, and her relationship with her mentor. Jade is also an artist. She specifically focuses on like collages. As you can see by the cover, it has a collage, and I really like that aspect of the story as well. So yeah, if you're looking for a quiet story, it's pretty short, just about a girl navigating all these things, then I recommend this. Yeah? Okay. Tucker's gonna join us. Don't step on the computer, please. Tucker is right next to me in case you were wondering. The next book I have to talk to you guys about is A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. This is an urban fantasy Alice in Wonderland retelling. It follows Alice. In case you're wondering what my cat is doing, that's my cat. I'm also wearing pajamas. Hopefully this is still in frame. This follows Alice, who lives in the city of Atlanta, and she also protects the city and part of the world from nightmares that come out of Wonderland. She's been doing this, splitting time, for about a year, and she's been working on striking a balance between doing that job and doing the job of being a teenager, going to school, getting good grades, being a good daughter, and all those things. But then something happens with her mentor where he gets really sick, and it's up to Alice to try and save him. She's also dealing with her real life friendships, her relationship with her mom. This book deals with grief a little bit as her father died. Before the events of this book, we still see a bit how that affects her relationship with her mom and how that affects Alice in general. Let Me Hear a Rhyme by Tiffany D. Jackson. I enjoyed all these stories. This follows 3 teenagers where 2 of them are friends of someone and one of them is a sister of someone, and that person was killed, and the person who was killed was on his way to becoming like an up-and-coming rapper. He was really into making music, so his friends want his legacy to like continue on. So them 2, along with his sister, craft a plan where they're trying to get their dead loved one a record deal. And honestly, it just sounds like a lot, but the story is so good. If you love old school hip hop or things like that, then I think you'll really enjoy the story. The story is set in 1990s Brooklyn. Obviously, the story also deals with grief. There is like a little bit of romance in there, and I just thought this way the story was told was done really, really well. Pride by Ibi Zoboi. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling with 2 Black main characters. This follows Zuri, who lives in Brooklyn. Another story set in Brooklyn. Didn't even notice they were together, but yeah, another story set in Brooklyn, but like present day. And she's so proud of her neighborhood, proud of her heritage. And then the Darcy family moves in across the street, and she does not like them. Basically, if you know the story of Pride and Prejudice, you know the idea of the story, but the story deals with more modern things, obviously. It pretty heavily deals with like gentrification and things like that. I really, really like the family dynamics between Zuri and the rest of her family, and I really enjoyed that part of the story. The romance was really cute as well, and so if you like Pride and Prejudice, I think you will enjoy this, and you should give it a shot. Fake ID by Lamar Giles. I can't really give too much of a synopsis because I think part of the fun is finding out what the heck is going on, but basically this follows a boy called Nick. That's not his real name, and we follow him after he moves to a new school, and the one friend that he just started making ends up being found dead, and so he wants to know what happened. how that happened, and yeah. So that's kind of all I want to tell you guys. It's a murder mystery, and you just don't see a lot of murder mysteries with a black protagonist that are just like fun, like YA thrillers. Like you don't see those, and I really enjoyed this story, so I recommend it. This is kind of old, not that old. I think it's one of the oldest books on this list though, so check it out if you're interested. Kingdom of Souls by Raina Barron. This is a YA fantasy story. I actually did a whole review on this. If you're interested, I'll have that link down below and somewhere on the screen. The bare bones synopsis of this is that this is a fantasy story where we follow Ara, who has yet to get her magic, and most people, if you're going to get magic, you will get it by your 16th birthday, and her 16th birthday comes and she doesn't get it. And this is especially disappointing because she is the daughter of two powerful witch doctors. That is kind of the magic system in the story. One is her mom is like the high priestess of their area, and her dad is like a powerful healer. So it is especially surprising that Ara doesn't have magic. Along with that, something is going on in the city where children are disappearing, and Ara desperately wants to find out like who's taking them. And so Ara does something that she is not supposed to do and basically trades years of her life for magic, and we follow along with the story after that. If you're looking for a West African inspired fantasy, I would recommend this. For me, there were some inconsistencies in the story that I didn't love, but overall I did enjoy the story and I would recommend it. And the last book that I'm going to recommend in this video is Miles Morales' Spider-Man by Jason Reynolds. This is a novelization of Miles Morales' story. He's a comic book character and he's the main character in Into the Spider-Verse. Yes, that's what it's called. The story told in here is not one that's told in either of those avenues, mediums, that's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, just putting that warning out there. This is more closely aligned to, I think, the comic book because yeah, nothing in Into the Spider-Verse happens in either of those. So yeah, I stopped reading the comic books a while ago, so I don't know though. And I do think it's good to have the background of the comic books just so you know exactly what's going on, or seeing Into the Spider-Verse, you can kind of get what's going on. But yeah, this follows Miles after he gets suspended at school, and he's going back to school and he's dealing with a racist teacher, stuff that's going on with like Spider-Man and everything, and his family, girls, all that fun stuff. I really enjoyed it. If you like comic books, I would recommend it. If you like all the comic book novelizations that have been coming out, I would recommend it. If you are looking for like a more contemporary version of that, if you don't like all the like super action-packed heroics, this is definitely a good story for you. It definitely has less of that. So yeah, but I really enjoyed it as a contemporary lover myself. Okay, so those are all of the books that I'm going to be recommending in this video. I tried to go with some lesser talked about ones. I wouldn't say these are lesser known, but I just don't see a lot of people talking about most of these. So I tried. Let me know if I succeeded. If you're gonna pick up any of these books now, let me know in the comments down below. Give me your recommendations in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a video, and notified if I do ever get around to posting the adult version of this video. I think that's it. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.